So today I'm looking at installing a USB 3.0 PCI Express card. This is a Inateck card. And I'm looking at putting it into this tower here. And the reason why I have these two towers stacked up on each other is because this tower, I originally migrated everything from a ThinkCentre M91p into this larger, older Lenovo case. So I could fit larger components in and also provide more of a cooling, kind of a unique cooling system. So I'll go into that probably in another video. For this one, I might just focus on installing how to install a USB 3.0 PCI Express card. So we'll open up the larger case and we'll see what we have inside. Okay, let's take a look at the inside of this. Let's get the lid off. I'm just going to position the camera better angle. And I'll give you a brief tour of what I have in this tower. So this motherboard down here again came out of the ThinkCentre M91p, and we have a 1GB DDR3 graphics card, 64-bit. And over here, through this mess of wires, I've got a small fan installed, hard drive for storage, and in there's a solid state drive, 128 gigabytes, and also a what I believe is a at least 340 watt power supply. Don't need a ton of power to do what we're doing here. And okay, so as you can see with the USB 3.0 card, we're dealing with a pretty small PCI slot. And you can see right underneath the graphics card here, we have a black PCI slot right there. And this card is luckily just skinny enough to fit in perfectly. So I'll start by removing one of the pieces here. And it should be as simple. Turn on an extra light here for myself. And it should be a simple plug and play. And it's quite easy to install these kind of cards. You just have to line it up correctly and lightly push down. And once you feel it snap in, good to go. So that feels good to me. I give it a light tug test just to make sure it's snug. But otherwise, I think we're good to go. What will really hold it in is a screw here. So I'm going to put that back in. And I think that looks pretty good. So this is an interesting card. You'll notice here that we have two USB slots on the back. We have one SATA power connection, which I believe we'll have to plug in. And on the other side that comes out of the back of the case, we have 5 USB 3.0 slots. More than I would ever need, but why not? So I'm going to pause the video here for a second, just look at some documentation to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so this SATA power splitter also came with the card, and I'm not too sure if we actually need it or not, but apparently we'll get a message saying that we do, if it's needed. So I'm going to reposition the camera here, press pause, and we're going to boot up here and see if the card just works right off the bat. Okay, so I'm going to go with a little live presentation here. Start by booting on the tower. And we'll see if we have to do anything further from just plugging the card in itself. Sometimes Windows will automatically install the drivers and sometimes it won't. In this case, it always helps to have your Ethernet cable connected, or at least a connection to the internet. If we find that Windows doesn't load at all, then there's definitely a problem. And in this case, we're hanging up on the load screen. So that leads me to think there may be a problem. All right, I'm going to pause the video and try to figure out what is going on. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to try is connecting this power cable, and we will see what happens. So I'm actually going to pull this out of the PCI slot completely. Let's line up the cable. It's pretty straightforward. All right. And luckily with this power supply, we have a lot of different SATA power connections, so we have some options. Okay, so we got this plugged back in. Just going to screw it back in just to make sure it's in there nice and snug. Hopefully, this is all we need to do. All right, here comes some power. We'll see if this makes a difference at all. Okay, we have power going to the card. I'll reposition the camera here, and let's hope for the best. Go for live boot after I plug the power in. Let's see what happens. Okay, so far so good. We'll see if it hangs up on this load screen again. Oh, we're getting a little load dial. Okay. So far so good. We're getting into Windows. It's a good sign. So if this is the case for you, you plugged in the card, it didn't work, and then you plugged in the card again with the power source connected. My thoughts are the next best thing to do are to hit the Windows key, type device manager, and see if our card is showing up here. Okay, our PCI serial port. We have a little yellow caution sign beside it. And that leads me to think that we'll have to install some drivers. So I'm going to pause the video again. Okay, so what the card also came with was a handy disk for drivers. So instead of looking it up online, I'm just going to try installing from the CD-ROM first. So we'll start with putting this in the CD tray. And we'll see what happens. All right, let's take a moment for it to load up. There we go. Select to choose what happens with this disk. So generally this a driver disk will show up with a little graphic interface that you can interact with. Looks like, well, if nothing happens, oh, there we go. There we go. I guess I didn't click in the right spot. So as you can see here, we have run autorun.exe. We're just going to click right on that. There we go. Inateck support. We have website, driver, manual, contact us, and exit. And we'll click on driver. We have online update, red card, green card. So our card is definitely red, so let's click on that. Okay, so just by clicking on that, we have an install wizard here. This wizard will install Fresco Logic USB 3.0 host controller on your computer. Click Next to continue or cancel to exit. Next. Yes, we agree to the terms without reading them, of course. And yeah, I think we will install this onto the C drive, the OS drive. We hit Next. Install. Do you want? Yes, of course, I want them to make changes. Okay, click the Finish button to exit the setup wizard. All right. So we have to assume we're good to go. One thing that's always good to do is just to reset the computer after you install drivers. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to click pause here just because it's unnecessary time wasted. Okay, we're back from the restart. Let's hit our Windows key, type in Device Manager, and let's see if the USB 3.0 pops up. Okay, so what I'm seeing still is a PCI serial port. Okay, no problem. I'm going to pause this video again and just check something out. Okay, so I was honing in on this PCI serial port sign, but I was looking in the wrong space. I did go down here to look at the Universal Serial Bus Controllers, the USB devices. I should have looked harder last time, and I'll have to go back in the video and see if it was still there before I installed the drivers, but you can see here we have Fresco Logic, all the way down here. Those are USB 3.0 ports, so either they were already installed when I put the card in, or they installed after I installed the drivers, and they're recognized. But either way, they seem to be recognized by the system now. So the next step is to take a USB port, plug it in, and see if it's recognized. Okay, that's our first test. Okay, we definitely have active lights. USB drive G, nice. Looks like we're good to go. So the main thing about USB 3.0 is that it's super fast, and of course it's faster than 2.0, which is what this computer previously had. So now I'm going to clear off this drive and demonstrate. I only have 1 gigabyte. Well, I can plug in an external hard drive, and we'll transfer a large file, and we'll check to see what the speeds look like here. All right, so now for the big test. So I've got my Seagate external hard drive here, and this is going to be an extra cool test because this hard drive also has a USB 3.0 extension connected to it. So I'm hoping this is going to be super fast and impressive. Otherwise, I don't know. Okay, we got it plugged in. Let's take a look here. What do we have that's big? We'll start with this 3.13 gigabyte crashing season 2. If you haven't seen, oh, not season 2. Let's go with Crashing season 1. So Crashing is a funny TV show created by Pete Holmes, a comedian. If you've never seen it, and we'll open up another file explorer and we'll navigate to the hard drive here, new volume E, and we'll put it into videos. Okay, so here we go. First test. over 3 GB here. Okay, we're at a 83 point. We're hovering at 85 to an 83 megabytes per second. That's pretty fast. So I haven't timed this from the beginning. I didn't count, but this is actually moving pretty quick. It looks like we're clocking in at less than a minute to move 3 GB. I think that's pretty decent. And so you'll experience variances in time, of course, depending on what device you're hooking up, but that was really fast. I mean, I am impressed. In less than a minute, we're set up. We got an entire season of crashing to watch. That's awesome. So the only thing left to do now is to test something even bigger. I'm going to pause the video and find something. Okay, so the largest file I could find quickly was this music file. And let's take a look. Properties, 40.3 GB. Okay, let's see how fast this one transfers over. Boom. Oh, we're clocking some higher speeds this time. We're going, at points we are going over 100 megabytes per second and dipping down to 75, 78, 60. That's not bad. So I'll probably time lapse this part. Okay. And we have, what was it, 40 GB? 40.3 GB moved over. And that took about less than 5 minutes. I think that's pretty fast. And I think just to demonstrate, I'm going to plug my external hard drive into a USB 2.0 and move over the same file, and then we'll see how long that takes. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. We're going to unplug my external hard drive, and I'm going to plug it back into one of the USB 2.0 ports on the back. This time I'm actually going to start a counter. Okay, so I have a stopwatch set up on my other computer here, and we're going to move the exact same file but with a USB 2.0 and see what the difference is. So cue another time lapse. Okay, so I'm going to pause this right here. We're at 13%. So I actually just let this run for about 3.5, almost 4 minutes. And that's pretty well how much it took to copy over 40 GB with USB 3.0. As you can see, with 2.0, we're only at 13%, and time remaining is stated at about 20 minutes. So, I mean, that is a pretty crazy difference. I can definitely see the benefit to wanting to install a USB 3.0 card into your computer, and also just having access to that in new computers. I mean, it's a dream compared to 2.0. If you're transferring large files. Myself, I do have USB 3.0 cards set up in my gaming tower, but not in my work tower, so maybe I'll think about installing that one in the future. So anyway, this demonstrates how to put in a USB 3.0 card into an older system, if that is what you're choosing to do. And I know this was kind of a long guide. I mean, it would take a couple of minutes to do a video of just to simply install the card. It's not that hard. But anyway, I wanted to show off this system a little bit and also show off how quickly and effectively this card works, and as well address some light troubleshooting issues that you might run into installing the exact same card. So just for reference, this is I'll write this in the description below, but it's don't hit the fan. So Inateck USB 3.0 card. I'll put the link for the card in the description below, and probably end the video here. So I hope this helped you out. I hope you learned something, and thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.